Good morning, dear students. Let's start with the new unit, classification of elements and periodicity in properties. The very first question is, why do we need to classify elements? The elements are the basic unit of all types of matter. In 1800, only 31 elements were known. Therefore, it was very easy to study and remember the properties of these elements. Between 1800 to 1869, the number of identified elements had become nearly double to 63. With such a large number of elements, it became difficult to study individually the chemistry of all these elements and their innumerable compounds. At this stage, it was realized that there should be some simple way to study and remember the numerous properties of the elements and their compound. This gave rise to the necessity of classification of the elements into various groups having similar properties. This has been done by arranging the elements in such a way that similar elements are placed together while dissimilar elements are separated from one another. This is known as classification of the elements. Such a classification of the elements has resulted in the formulation of the periodic table. Periodic table is defined as the arrangement of the known elements according to their properties in a tabular form. At present, about 118 elements are known. Of these, the recently discovered elements are man-made. Efforts to synthesize new elements are continuing. The periodic classification of the element has extremely simplified their study. Not only the periodic classification rationalizes the known chemical facts about elements, but it also helps to predict new ones for undertaking the further study. Genesis of periodic classification, the historical development of the periodic table. Since the beginning of the 19th century, scientists have been trying to find a basis of grouping elements having similar properties. Lavoisier classified the elements as metals and non-metals. However, this classification proved to be inadequate. Some of the earlier important attempts to classify the elements are Dobereiner triads. Dobereiner was a German scientist. He, in 1817, classified the elements in a group of 3 elements called triads. The elements in a triad had similar properties, and the atomic weight of the middle member of each triad is very close to the arithmetic mean of the other 2 elements. The common triads of Dobereiner classification were lithium, sodium, potassium, calcium, strontium, barium, chlorine, bromine, iodine. In the triad of lithium, sodium and potassium, the atomic weight of the middle element is the mean of the atomic mass of lithium and potassium. So we can see here the middle element is sodium and its atomic weight is 23, and it is the average of the atomic mass of lithium and potassium, that is 7 plus 39 over 2 is 23. The Dobereiner relationship is also called as the law of triads. However, it seemed to work only for few elements. It was dismissed as coincidence because all the known elements could not be arranged in the triads. Then came the de Cancotius classification. De Cancotius was a French geologist. He arranged the known elements in the order of increasing atomic weight and proposed a cylindrical table of elements to display the periodic recurrence of properties. He observed that elements with similar properties fell in a vertical line from the center of the spiral. But this classification did not attract much attention. Newland law of octaves. In 1865, an English chemist, John Newland, proposed a new system of grouping elements of similar properties. According to him, when the elements are arranged in the increasing order of atomic weights, the property of every eighth element are similar to the first one. Newland called this relationship as law of octaves due to similarity with the musical scale. For example, in the musical scale we have sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa. So the first note and the eighth note are similar. Similarly, we see here in this table the Newland octaves: lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and then comes the sodium. In this table, sodium, the eighth element from lithium, is similar to lithium, and similarly the next eighth element. Now this is again potassium is the next eighth element. It is similar to sodium. The same is true for magnesium resembling beryllium and aluminium resembling boron. Lothar Meyer arrangement. Lothar Meyer was a German chemist. He in 1869 used the physical properties such as atomic volume, melting point, boiling point to arrive at his table of elements. He showed that when properties of the elements such as atomic volume, melting point, boiling point are plotted as a function of their atomic weights, the elements with similar properties occupied almost similar positions. On this basis, Lothar Meyer proposed that when the elements are arranged in the order of increasing atomic weight, similarity in physical and chemical properties appear at regular intervals. All these attempts provided same clue that there are certain regularities among the elements. The first most successful attempt in classification of element was made by a Russian chemist, Dmitry Mendeleev. He gave the Mendelev's periodic law, which states that the physical and chemical properties of the element are periodic functions of their atomic weights. This means that when elements are arranged in the order of their increasing atomic weights, the elements with similar properties reoccur at regular intervals. Mendelev's periodic table. On the basis of his periodic law, Mendeleev arranged all the known elements in the form of a table known as periodic table. This table was published in 1905. Let's see this table. See, in this table, it was observed that elements with similar properties, they reoccur at regular intervals. As a result of this, the elements fall in certain groups or families. The element in each group was similar to each other in many properties. The properties repeated periodically. The horizontal rows in the periodic table are called periods, and the vertical columns, they are called groups. Mendeleev's system of classification of elements was more elaborate than the earlier attempts. For example, he fully recognized the significance of periodicity and used broader range of physical and chemical properties to classify the element in comparison to Lothar Meyer. He realized that some of the elements did not fit into the scheme of classification if the order of atomic weight was strictly followed. He showed courage to ignore the order of atomic weights, thinking that the atomic weight measurements might be incorrect. He placed the elements with similar properties together. For example, Iodine has lower atomic weight than that of tellurium. But he placed iodine in group 7 along with fluorine, chlorine and bromine because of their similarity in the properties. The Mendeleev's classification gave him so much confidence that he boldly left certain spaces or gaps for undiscovered elements. By considering the properties of the adjacent elements in his table, he predicted the properties of the undiscovered elements. Later on, when these elements were discovered, their properties were found to be exactly similar to those predicted by Mendeleev. For example, gallium and germanium were not discovered at that time. When Mendeleev formulated his periodic table, he left gaps for these elements. He did not only predicted the existence of the element, but he also estimated their properties. He named these elements as Ika aluminium and Ika silicon. Ika is a Sanskrit word which means next, that is element next to aluminium and next to silicon. When chemists discovered these elements, Mendeleev's prediction of their properties proved to be remarkably correct. Let's discuss the important contribution of Mendeleev's periodic table. Mendeleev's periodic table was one of the greatest achievements in the development of chemistry. Some of the important contributions of this periodic table are systematic study of the elements. The Mendeleev periodic table simplified the study of chemistry of elements. Knowing the properties of one element in a group, the properties of other elements can be easily guessed. So, it became very useful in studying and remembering the properties of large number of elements. Correction of atomic masses. The Mendeleev periodic table helped in correcting the atomic masses of some elements based on their position in the periodic table. For example, the atomic mass of beryllium was corrected from 13.5 to 9. Similarly, with the help of the table, the atomic mass of gold, platinum, was also corrected. Prediction of new elements. At the time of Mendeleev, only 56 elements were known. While arranging these elements, he left some gaps. These gaps represented the undiscovered elements. Mendeleev predicted the properties of these undiscovered elements on the basis of their positions. For example, he predicted the properties of gallium and germanium, which he called Ika aluminium and Ika silicon. The observed properties of these elements were found to be similar to those predicted by Mendeleev. Defects of Mendeleev periodic table. Position of hydrogen. Hydrogen is placed in group 1. However, it resembles the elements of group 1 as well as the elements of group 7. Therefore, the position of hydrogen in the periodic table is not correctly defined. Anomalous pair. In certain pairs of elements, the increasing order of atomic masses is not obeyed. For example, tellurium has atomic mass 127.6 and iodine 126.9. They have been placed because of their resemblance to the other members of the group. So their positions are not justified if we take the increasing atomic weight concept. Position of isotopes. So isotopes are the atoms of the same element having same atomic number but different mass number. So according to Mendeleev classification, these should be placed at different places depending upon their atomic masses. For example, isotope of hydrogen with atomic mass 1, 2 and 3 should be placed in 3 places. However, isotopes have not been given separate place in the periodic table. Hydrogen has been allotted only one position. Some similar elements are separated and dissimilar elements are grouped together. In the Mendeleev periodic table, some similar elements were placed in different groups while some dissimilar elements has been grouped together. For example, copper and mercury have similar properties, but they have been placed in different group. Copper is placed in group 1 and mercury is placed in group 2. At the same time, elements of group 1A such as lithium, sodium, potassium, they are grouped with copper, silver and gold, though their properties are quite different. Cause of periodicity. Mendeleev did not explain the cause of periodicity among the elements. Position of lanthanoids and actinoids. The 14 elements following lanthanum, known as lanthanoids, and the 14 elements following actinium have not been given separate places in the Mendeleev periodic table. Modern periodic law and the present form of the periodic table. In 1913, a young English physicist discovered the relationship between X-ray spectra and the atomic number of the elements. When high energy electrons were focused on a target made of an element under study, X-rays were generated. He studied the frequencies of X-ray emitted from the elements and observed that the frequency of prominent X-ray emitted by an element was proportional to the atomic number and not to the atomic weight. He gave a general equation root nu is equal to A Z minus B, where A and B are constants. They are same for all elements. Nu is frequency, Z is atomic number. A plot of root nu versus atomic number gave a straight line. This led Moseley to conclude that atomic number and not the atomic weight is the fundamental property of the atoms. He therefore suggested that atomic number instead of atomic weight should be the basis of classification of elements. The acceptance of atomic number as the important characteristic of an atom led to the modern periodic law, which states that the physical and chemical properties of the elements are periodic functions of their atomic numbers. This law implies that physical and chemical properties of the element depend on atomic number, and this dependency show periodicity. This is the long form of the periodic table, and it is the most widely used periodic table. It is constructed on the basis of repeating electronic configuration of atoms when the elements are arranged in the order of increasing atomic number. So we find here the elements are arranged in the order of increasing atomic number. This long form of the periodic table consists of horizontal rows, which are called periods, and vertical columns, which are called groups. There are 7 periods and 18 groups in the long form of the periodic table. Now let us see that the first period has only 2 elements. For example, when I say first period, means this is the principal quantum number is 1. When principal quantum number is 1, n is 1, L is 0, so there is 1s orbital. So one orbital can accommodate maximum of 2 electrons. So the first period corresponding to n is equal to 1 have 2 elements, that is hydrogen and helium. Let us talk about now the elements of the second period. There are 8 elements of the second period. Now, when I say second period means n is equal to 2. And when n is equal to 2, L is equal to 0, 1. That is 2s and 2p. That is 1, 2s and 3, 2p. So, there are total 4 orbitals. 4 orbitals can accommodate maximum of 8 electrons. That is why the second period has 8 elements starting from lithium to neon. Then we come to n is equal to 3. When I say n is equal to 3, then L is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3s, 3p and 3d. So we know that 3d orbitals are higher in energy than 4s. So these orbitals will be filled after 4s. So corresponding to n is equal to 3, there is filling of only 1 3s and 3 3p. That is why there are 4 orbitals, and again there are 8 elements in corresponding to the third period, that is n is equal to 3. There are 8 elements starting from sodium to argon. Now let us see the fourth period, n is equal to 4. When I say n is equal to 4, L is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4s, 4p, 4d and 4f. Now 4d and 4f orbitals, they are higher in energy than the 5s orbital. But in between this 4s and 4p, there are 3d orbitals. So there is filling of 9 orbitals, 1 4s, 3 4p and 5 3d. So there are 9 orbitals, and 9 orbitals means there are 18 electrons or 18 elements corresponding to the n is equal to 4. This is the fourth period. So 18 elements starting from potassium to this is krypton, right? Now when I say fourth period, you find here in orange that there are certain elements. These are the transition elements. In this transition elements, there is the last electron enters the d orbital. So you find here the progressive filling of the d orbitals. So this series from 21 to 30 is also known as the 3d transition series. Here I would like to tell you that you are able to see here these blue elements. In these elements, the last electron enters the s subshell. So these are the s block elements. Here you see that last electron enters the p subshell. So these are p block elements. Here the last electron enters the d subshell. So these are d block elements. And here the last electron enters the f subshell. So they are f block elements. Here the last electron enters the 4f subshell. So this is the 4f series or the lanthanoid series. And here the last electron enters the 5f subshell. So this is the actinoid series, right? Now we come to n is equal to 5. The fifth period is also like the fourth period, in which there are 18 elements. So starting from rubidium and to xenon. So there are 18 elements, and here you find in orange, these are the transition elements where the last electron enters the 4d subshell, and so they are known as 4d transition series. Then we come to the elements of the sixth period. Now sixth period, there are 32 elements, and you find here that from 57 the elements have been taken out. So these are the 14 elements which have been taken out. These are the 4f transition series, inner transition series, also called as lanthanoids, right? And this is, here you find that there is a progressive filling of the 5d subshell. So this is your 5d transition series. So 3d series, 4d series, 5d transition series, right? Now we come to the elements of the seventh period. So this is also like the elements of the sixth period. So there are also 32 elements, and 14 elements have been taken out, and most of these elements are man-made and they are radioactive. Here the elements which follow actinium are known as actinoids, and here the electrons are filled in the 5f subshell. So you find the progressive filling of the 5f orbitals here, right? Nomenclature of elements with atomic number more than 100. Today we have elements up to 118. These elements were earlier named traditionally by its discoverer or discoverers. However, in recent years, disputes regarding the original discoveries of some elements of atomic number 104 and above have arisen. This is because the new elements with high atomic number are very unstable, and only minute quantities of elements are obtained. This has led to controversy in deciding the claims of more than one scientist for the discovery and names assigned by them for the new elements discovered. For example, both American and Soviet scientists claimed credit for the discovery of element 104. The Americans named it Rutherfordium, while the Soviet named it Kurzatovium. To overcome this problem, the IUPAC has recommended a systematic nomenclature for naming the new elements until their names are officially recognized. So how to name these elements? For example, the atomic number is 101. So if it is 0, we use the name nil and abbreviation N. If it is 1, we'll use un and abbreviation U. If it is 2, then bi, the abbreviation B. So if it is 3, the name is tri and abbreviation is T. 4, it is quad, Q. 5, pent, P. 6, hex, H. 7, sept, S. 8, oct, O. 9, N, E. Now let us see how to name 101. So this element is say discovered, and till it has got an official name by IUPAC, how to name it. So 1 is un. So 1 is un. 0 is nil. So un, nil. And again 1, un, nil, un. And in the last you have to write em. So un, nil, un, em. And the symbol is U, N, U. Right? U, N, U. 102. This is un, nil. 2 is bi. Un, nil, bi, em. So U, N, B. Right? Then 103. So 103 is un, nil, tri, em. This is U, N, T. Right? 104. Un, nil, quadium. This is U, N, Q. So U, N, Q. 105. This is un, nil, pent. U, N, P. Then 106. Un, nil, hexium. So U, N, H. So this is how you are going to name till the final name is decided. Say 2 people say that we have discovered the element. By the time it is officially decided by UPSC, for the time being, these names are given like this. 1 is un, 0 is nil, 2 is bi, 3 is tri, 4 is quad, 5 is pent, 6 is hex, 7 is sept, 8 is oct, and 9 is n. So the question can be asked, write the, so we have a question here. What would be the IUPAC name and symbol for the element with atomic number 120? So for 1 we will write un, for 2 we will write bi, for 0 we will write nil. So un, bi, nil and em, and the abbreviation will be, the symbol will be UBN, right? The long form of the periodic table is divided into 4 main blocks. These are S block, P block, D block and F block. The division of elements is based upon the electronic configuration of the atoms. In this division, the elements which involve the filling of a particular orbital are grouped together. Let us first talk about the S block elements. The element in which the last electron enters the S orbital of their outermost energy level are called the S block elements. It consists of elements of group 1 which are called alkali metals and have the electronic configuration NS1. Then group 2 having the electronic configuration NS2 and they are known as alkaline earth metals. The general electronic configuration for S block element is NS1 to 2. Then we come to the characteristics of S block elements. The S block elements are reactive metals. They have low ionization enthalpies and the metallic character and reactivity increase as we go down the group. Because of high reactivity, they are never found pure in nature. They form ionic compounds except for lithium and beryllium. They impart characteristic color to the flame and they are strong reducing agents. Now we discuss about the P block elements, the elements in which the last electron enters the p orbital of their outermost energy level are called p block elements. The elements of group 13 to 18 involving addition of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 electrons respectively in p orbital and s orbitals are already filled in their atoms, they constitute the p block. Let us see group 13. The first element is boron having atomic number 5. So what is the configuration of boron? 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. So 2s2, 2p1. Similarly carbon. The atomic number of carbon is 6. So the configuration will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. Right? So similarly we can find for nitrogen. The atomic number of nitrogen is 7. So the electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. Right? So for oxygen it is ns2, np4. So oxygen atomic number is 8. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. Then we say for fluorine the atomic number is for fluorine is 9. So we have 1s2, 2s2, 2p5 and then we talk of neon having atomic number 10. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. Right? So in this way these are the general electronic configuration of the group. Okay. Now let us see the general characteristics of the p block elements. They include both metals as well as non-metals. There is a regular gradation from metallic to non-metallic character as we move along a period from left to right in this block. The metallic character also increase down the group. See, lead is a metal. Bismuth is also a typical metal. Then their ionization enthalpies are relatively high as compared to S block elements. The ionization enthalpies increase as we move along a period because the nuclear charge increases when we move along a period. Then they form covalent compounds and some of them show more than one oxidation state in their compounds. Okay. Now the elements of S block and P block, they together are known as representative elements or main group elements. The elements of group 18 have the configuration NS2 NP6 and they are called noble gases. Right? So all the orbitals in the valence shell of the noble gas is completely filled and so they have no tendency to lose or gain the electrons. Therefore, noble gases exhibit very low reactivity because they have stable electronic configuration. Then we talk about group 17 and group 16. Group 17 having a general electronic configuration NS2 NP5 are known as halogens and they just need one electron to become equal to the nearest noble gas. The chalcogens, that they are group 16 members and they have the electronic configuration NS2 NP4. So let me show you the chalcogens. They are the oxygen family, group 16, having the members oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium. Then group 17 having the members fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. They are known as halogens. Means halogens are salt producers. They all are the producer of salt. Like we see sodium chloride, the most common salt, right? So we have discussed now about the P block and the S block elements. So these two group of elements, halogens and chalcogens, they have highly negative electron gain enthalpies because they can, after gaining the electrons, they will become equal to the nearest noble gas. For example, halogen wants just one electron to become equivalent to the nearest noble gas, and chalcogen require 2 electrons to become equivalent to the nearest noble gas. That is, every system in the universe wants to attain stability by gaining or by losing the electrons. D block elements, the elements in which the last electron enters the d orbital of their last but one energy level constitute the D block elements. These are called, this last but one energy level is called penultimate energy level. This block consists of elements lying between S block and P block, and it starts from the fourth period of the periodic table. It constitutes groups 3 to 12 in the periodic table. In these elements, the outermost shell contain 1 or 2 electrons in their s orbital, but the last electron enters the last but one d subshell. So the general electronic configuration is n-1d 1 to 10 ns 0 to 2. Thus, the d orbitals are progressively filled in the elements of this block. They are called transition elements because the properties of these elements are midway between the S block and that of the P block elements. There are 4 transition series. The first transition series have elements from scandium to zinc, from atomic number 21 to 30. The second transition series has elements deuterium to cadmium from 39 to 48. The third transition series have lanthanum with atomic number 57, and then from hafnium atomic number 72 to mercury atomic number 18. Then the fourth transition series or the 6D transition series have actinium atomic number 89, and then from rutherfordium 104 to coppernicum 112. So there are 3D series, 4D series, 5D series and 6D series. They have been classified like this because here there is a progressive filling of 3D orbital. In this there is a progressive filling of 4D orbital. In this there is a progressive filling of 5D orbital, and in this there is a progressive filling of 6D orbitals. Now let us see the properties of the D block elements. They are all metals having high melting and boiling point. They form colored compounds. Then they have good tendency to form complexes. Their compounds are generally paramagnetic. They exhibit various oxidation states and they are used as catalyst. For example, the elements such as nickel, we can see here the elements such as nickel, cobalt, then chromium, vanadium and platinum, they all are used as catalyst. F block elements, the elements in which the last electron enters the f orbital of their atoms are called F block elements. In these elements, the last electron is added to the n-2 f subshell, which is called the anti-penultimate energy level. The first series follows the lanthanum, which is 57, and the elements present in this series are from cerium 58 to lutetium 71. They are called lanthanoids or lanthanides. They are also called rare earth elements. The second series follow actinium, and the elements present in this series are from thorium 90 to lawrencium 103. They are called actinoids or actinides. They are of radioactive nature. The general electronic configuration of F block element is n-2f 1 to 14, n-1d 0 to 2, ns2. For example, for lanthanoids, the general electronic configuration is 4f 1 to 14, 5d 0 to 1, 6s2. And for actinoids, it is 5f 1 to 14, 6d 0 to 2, 7s2. The elements included in these two series are called inner transition elements because they form transition series within the transition elements of D block. General characteristics of F block elements: they are heavy metals, they have high melting and boiling point, they exhibit variable oxidation state, they form colored ions, they have tendency to form complex compounds, the actinoids are radioactive in nature, and the chemistry of early actinoids is more complicated than the corresponding lanthanoids because of large number of oxidation state possible for these actinoid elements. Many of the actinoid elements have been made only in nanogram quantities or even less by nuclear reactions, and the chemistry is not fully studied. The elements after uranium are called transuranium elements.